Well, yes, with you. Yeah.
Not downstairs, but
So many interesting stories.
There it is.
what's this? Set up for- we don't need to bring it down. You can.
I don't know what that was.
Just trying to get just a little bit this.
Speak.
I am too.
Oh, close.
There's next. By the B.
Yeah.
There.
Okay.
Ah. He is amazing. He's the best. In fact, you're emailing him today. Still keeping the village movement plugging along. Still helps us with that. Legit. He is a wonderful. Pretty freaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. We're going to get started here. First, let me introduce the president of the Emeritus Center Board, Ed Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Dean. Yes, welcome, everybody. This is a special program offered by the Emeritus Center where we have a panel discussion with the directors of 3 agencies that offer services for seniors in the Capital District and even across New York State. So that's why we decided to move to the campus center, a little more comfortable and perhaps a little larger venue than our usual little cubby hole down in UAB. And I apologize for the parking snafu. If you tried visitors parking services gave us the wrong code. So of course it didn't work. We called them and they apologized. They gave us the right code, but too late now. However, they promised that they wouldn't send any police to ticket or tow cars. And if you did pay because you thought you might be ticketed, let us know afterwards. Give us your receipt and we can reimburse you. I think it was what, $5. Either we can reimburse you now or we can take your information and send a check later. But we did promise free parking and we will honor our promise. I just blame parking services for giving us the wrong information. So other than that, I'll turn it over to Dean, who's our co-program chair, to introduce today's speakers.
Thanks, Ed. And the panel is in no particular order, so I'm just going to introduce them as they sit to my right. One note of thanks to Scott Burge, my co-host in this. He was responsible for getting the room, getting the tech set up, and everything else. So thank you, Scott.
It's the problem. Thank you for letting me do that.
So let me first introduce the person to my right, Nicole McFarland. She's the president and chief executive officer of Senior Hope Counseling. She received her BA from Skidmore College and an MSW from the University of Pennsylvania, School of Social Policy and Practice. In May 2014, she received her PhD from University of Albany School of Social Welfare. She is currently clinical associate professor for both the School of Public Health Policy, Management Behavior, and clinical associate professor for the School of Social Welfare, University of Albany. Dr. McFarland has held the position of executive director of Senior Hope Counseling Incorporated since 2012, after serving as clinical director of Senior Hope for 8 years. She is currently president and chief executive officer for Senior Hope Counseling. She also holds the position of executive director of the Senior Hope Foundation Incorporated, a nonprofit established in 2015, which supports Senior Hope Counseling Incorporated. She has lectured locally and nationally on the topic of geriatric educations and co-occurring disorders among older adults, and has been interviewed on TV, for newspapers, and radio over the past several years. Her publications include 3 book chapters and peer-reviewed journal articles. Dr. McFarland is the recipient of a Hartford Doctoral Fellows Pre-Dissertation Award and the 2009 Individual of Distinction in Addictions, Educations, and Training Award for New York State. In 2010, she was honored as Social Worker of the Year for New York State at the annual NASW NYS conference. Dr. McFarland's community service includes prior leadership roles within the National Association of Social Workers as delegate to the National Delegate Assembly, representing the Northeast Division of New York State, and representative to the Committee on Nominations and Leadership Identifications for NASW Northeast Division. Hi. Additionally, she was inducted into the Albany Rotary Club July 2015 and was appointed president of the Albany Rotary Club July 2020. She resides in Glenmont, New York with her husband. Nicole.
Yeah. Well, special thanks to Dr. Fitzgerald, Dean, and Scott for the opportunity to be here with all of you today and to be part of the Innovative Aging panel. Senior Hope Counseling was founded in 2002 by the late Dr. William Rockwood and Adrian Rockwood. The mission of Senior Hope Counseling is to provide quality, evidence-based, comprehensive addiction services to older adults and their families in a compassionate setting. The goal is to promote the highest quality recovery lifestyle possible for our clients and their families. Dr. William Rockwood and Adrian Rockwood realized their age cohort was going untreated when it came to age-specific outpatient addictions treatment. And they poured in their time, energy, and resources to develop the outpatient clinic at Senior Hope. Senior Hope offers a variety of services, including individual, family, and group services. It is a non-intensive level of care. And what that means is individuals come to us anywhere between 1 and 5 times a week for individual sessions, group sessions, family support, and such. We offer day programming and also evening programming because there are quite a few older adults who are still employed and they can benefit from later in the evening support. We custom tailor our approach to meet the unique needs of this population. And we believe one size does not fit all. Services include a variety of offerings, including assessments, treatment planning, linkage, referrals, and discharge planning. There are a variety of treatment options when working with older adults who struggle with substance use disorders. And those include, as I mentioned earlier, individual and group support, but also a lot of times older adults can benefit from linkage to their communities. They may not be aware of some of the robust services that you're going to hear about as the panel continues with my colleagues. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a key component to working with older adults to assist them with changes in how they perceive what the substances are doing for them and to modify their behavior so that it's less harmful. The older adult is part of 3 generations. They have their adult children, they have their grandchildren, and at times they have great-grandchildren. So it is so important in working with older adults to realize that if you are able to support and help an older adult embrace recovery and engage in wellness, ultimately you are having an impact on multiple generations. At Senior Hope, over the years, we've listened carefully to our client population in terms of how to assist and develop programming accordingly. Currently, we offer 11 age-specific groups catering exclusively to older adults. We have a seasoned interdisciplinary team of dedicated professionals who have expertise in addictions, geriatrics, mental health, and physical impairment. Some of the groups include resilience and recovery, because we've done a lot of work with adverse childhood experiences. These are experiences that individuals have had prior to age 18, which have then impacted later life addictions, mental health, and physical impairment. So in that group, individuals in a safe forum are able to reflect on what might have happened early in childhood that set the stage for challenges later in life. We have a women's health and wellness group, as well as a gender-specific men's group. We have a group that is focused on maintaining health and wellness in recovery. So many of our older adults struggle with comorbid medical conditions, which then have a direct impact and correlation to their outlook, their emotional well-being, and their use of substances. Coping with barriers to treatment is another topic that we focus on. So we have a very diverse offering of groups. And what we have found with older adults is that sometimes they do not realize that they're not alone with their plight. By engaging in the group dynamic, they are able to realize that there are others like themselves, similar age, who are struggling with mental health, with recovery, with a significant number of losses. So at Senior Hope, we take a look at the individual and realize that for some of our client population, that flame that once burned bright has begun to dwindle and dim. And what can we do at Senior Hope to help reignite that flame, to give the client an opportunity to engage in volunteerism, activities, in the community, engage with family and friends, just so that that meaning and purpose can be resurrected, and they can realize that, as we age, our physical capabilities may change. Sometimes our cognitive capabilities may change, but that does not preclude us from the fact that we can be vital members of our community and stay engaged and active and feel valued and revered. So Senior Hope Counseling really has done a lot of work with UAlbany and Dr. Heather Larkin and Catherine Breyer Lawson over the years to realize that, because we are working with an older population, they did not have the insulation in place to support if there was childhood abuse, physical, sexual, or emotional. Now the younger cohort has quite a bit in place within the school system with law guardians, with a variety of different opportunities to help insulate. But back when our client population was going to school, those services were not there and have developed over the years. So we have older adults who really, until they walk through the doors of Senior Hope Counseling, did not realize that the trauma they experienced prior to age 18 set the stage for why it is that they're involved with different forms of substances, why there may be a comorbid medical condition or a mental health condition. And so we have found the collaboration with UAlbany School of Social Welfare on adverse childhood experiences extremely rewarding. Adverse childhood experiences are strong predictors of adult health risks and disease, and they are implicated in 10 leading causes of death in the United States. Many themes have emerged over the years at Senior Hope. Older adults benefit from being treated with individuals, their same age group, talking about age-related issues. Oftentimes, older adults will say they've been in and out of the rooms receiving support for their addictions. And oftentimes they felt like mom or dad, grandma or grandpa, giving to the younger generations in the rooms. But at Senior Hope, they're among their same age group, 50 and older. And they say that there's a level of comfort that emerges from being among that group. Older adults report that they benefit from smaller groups that focus on age-specific topics run by professionals that have geriatric expertise. You know, sometimes if there are too many in the room, it is really hard to stay focused, to process, to hear. So the recommended approach is to have smaller groups and to have a group facilitator who can speak loudly in case there's hearing loss, to have print that is larger in case there's visual changes that are occurring among this population. And also transportation is helpful because some older adults are no longer able to drive. And so that is one piece that we take a look at as well. We have to be sensitive to the generation these individuals grew up in. And we often say, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Do you want to be remembered as mom or dad, grandma or grandpa who died after a fall due to being intoxicated? Or do you want to be remembered as mom or dad, grandma or grandpa who had renewed relations with their adult children, great-grandchildren, and at times great-grandchildren? And so, you know, oftentimes the older adults is very motivated because they've been told by their primary physician, this may be their last opportunity to turn things around. So we have a very captive group of motivated individuals who, you know, 2/3 were early onset. They started their addictions prior to age 40 and 1/3 after age 40. But you can imagine a lot of the clients that we see at Senior Hope have been in and out of the rooms and are ready to embrace recovery because they realize this is maybe their last chance. It's so important to be aware of some of the services that my colleagues, Greg Olson and Mary Moeller, are going to reflect upon because, you know, a lot of times older adults may not realize that here in the greater capital region, we have a plethora of services available to help insulate as a person ages in place. So it's extremely exciting, the fact that we have so much to offer older adults in this geographic area. These are some stats, and I won't go into too much detail with the stats, but over a period from January 2010 to January 2016, we generally see more male than female, 61% male, 38% female, with the average age 56 and above at 69.3%. Early on, when I arrived in 2004, I realized so many of the client population had comorbid mental health. And really, I felt that you can't address the whole person if you're just looking at the substance misuse. You really have to take a look at the interplay between the depression and the addiction, or the anxiety and the addiction, because they are so intimately correlated, along with any medical problems that an older adult may have. Interestingly enough, consistently over the years, the primary substance of choice has been alcohol. And, that is what we have seen at 71.9%. And there's quite a lot of, I have quite a lot of data that talks about medical, adult child of alcoholic, marital status, and so on and so forth. Here are some trends that we captured in terms of alcohol as primary, heroin as secondary. And in 2014, we saw at Senior Hope the highest number struggling with heroin. So what we did is in 2019, we moved to a larger facility at 650 Warren Street. And we offer medication-assisted treatment. We integrate primary care and behavioral health. And right now we're in process of collaborating with Albany Med to offer some offsite services, because so many older adults wind up injured, breaking hips, legs, other parts of the body due to their substance misuse. And we'd like to place a peer advocate and clinician over at the ER to help bridge and support individuals who are experiencing injury, so that when they go back to their community and their home, they can have outpatient supportive treatment and reduce the high rates of ER and inpatient hospitalizations. We really recommend, for those of you who would like to learn a little bit more about treating substance use disorder in older adults, to take a look at SAMHSA's Treatment Improvement Protocol. The federal government Substance Abuse Mental Health Service Administration updated the Treatment Improvement Protocol in 2020. And they asked us to be a national reviewer. And I was like blown away by the evidence-based practices that they have incorporated into this free, very valuable document. So for any of you who have loved ones who are struggling, or, you just have interest in this topic, it is an outstanding resource for all disciplines, including medical, social work, nursing, mental health professionals, psychologists. It's really the best approach and practices to working with older adults with substance use disorders. This is my contact information. I'm happy to share anything that we have gleaned over the years with all of you. So it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Dean, we're going to hold questions until the end, right? For more general discussion.
Yes, thank you, Ed, for reminding me. Yes, questions at the end. So we should have plenty of time for questions. Let me introduce our next speaker. In 2021, Mary Muller became the executive director of Albany Guardian Society, a dedicated leader to the 171-year-old nonprofit foundation with a mission to improve the lives of older adults and caregivers through information, education, and classes. For nearly 20 years, Mary has worked in the community assisting older adults and caregivers. Prior to coming to AGS, Mary was a member of the prestigious team at Albany Med Center of Excellence for Alzheimer's Disease. Mary is a graduate of the University of Albany School of Social Welfare internship and aging program, earning an MSW. With a passion for lifelong learning, Mary serves as adjunct faculty at UAlbany and SUNY Cobleskill and is currently in the final stages of completing a PhD. She is the author of Alzheimer's Through the Stages, a Caregiver's Guide. Mary continues to promote healthy aging, equity and access to services, and advocating for older adults and caregivers. She is passionate about enhancing the lives of older adults and informing the practice of professionals and students through education, transformative action, and with innovative approaches and collaborations. Mary? You just have to bring up your.
Okay, let's see if I can bring it up. Might be it. That's it. Okay. Hey, everybody. So thank you for the opportunity, and Dean and Scott and Ed, my prestigious colleagues here. So it's a real privilege to be here today. I am a UAlbany fanatic. I shamelessly promote it. I will be at homecoming this Saturday at the football game. So season ticket holder. So, you know, UA, those of you that go to the games know that, right? Okay. Little plug for that. So recently, I think Ed and I actually, Greg, we were there at the UAlbany Institute, let's see, the Center of Excellence for Healthy Aging Initiative Development, whatever the language is. We were all there, and there was a tagline that said, "Aging is so cool, everybody's doing it." So I lifted it, and I've been using it all year because, hey, right? We know it, we got it. So when Ed and the team met, talk about innovative programs. So looking back a little bit, almost 20 years ago, I was tasked with developing one of the first caregiver support service programs in the Capital Region. Caregivers are my people. They're the ones I started out serving, which has transitioned to older adults as well. So we were the first, it was Catholic Charities Senior and Caregiver Support Services in 2005 that developed the first caregiver support programs. They were offering respite, but what we soon learned was caregivers need more than just respite, right? They need groups. And I got away with, for a while back, I don't think you were, I don't know, Greg, if you were there, but we did social recreational activities for caregivers. So we had a blast. I mean, I took caregivers to Proctor's and the Palace, and we ate out, and oh, it was so much fun. But what developed from that was friendships, and they developed their own networks and their own informal care structures, which were really pivotal in helping them maintain their health and wellness. And since 2005, I've been saying, when you take care of yourself, you're better able to take care of your loved one. So, and then from that, kinship care providers, where we're also recognized, one of the first kinship care programs in New York State through Catholic Charities. Again, 2000, I think that was probably before 2005, but so recently EMDT. So EMDT teams are emergency, enhanced multidisciplinary teams. Thanks, Greg. So it's for elder abuse, and it's an interdisciplinary team that's funded across the state, right?
We're the only state in the country. And what makes it enhance is a forensic accountant to look at financial fraud and a geriatric psychiatrist. How wonderful it is that we have that in the Capital Region. So that was one of the innovative responses to aging and fraud and abuse and neglect. And we, all of us here at the table, talk about very uncomfortable topics. We're the ones that face it head on. We're advocates and fighters for the population that we serve. I'm sorry, I hope I can throw you under the bus on that. We serve our people, we're advocates, and we want to respond. Things change. Nicole already talked about trends and shifts. We're the ones that are in a unique position to respond to that. And then also in 2015, Greg, I hope you'll talk about this for 2 seconds, either now or whenever, but the New York State Caregiver Support Initiative in 2015, super innovative program funded. Are you gonna talk about that in your spot or not? The CSI? Well, it's up to you. Anyway, just a really great, well-funded program that recognized the impact of caregivers and how important they are in helping people to age in place and providing care. And also what we know about caregivers, when they have a loved one with Alzheimer's disease or dementia, 70% of them reside in the community, in homes, not in nursing homes and long-term care.
And then the other innovative programs that I know Greg will most likely address is responses to programming to address social isolation and COVID, and now post-COVID programming, because really New York State is, I'll let Greg, obviously that's Greg's thing, just we're in a really wonderful state to really take care of our older adults. And we really are wonderfully positioned to do that. So this is kind of my passion, and I'm still very much a novice at this. But so we talk about innovative aging. So for me, innovative aging is the programs and services, yes, and we all have lots of programs and services that we can connect you with. But for me, and part of this, it's the brain health and what we've learned about neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, and cognitive reserve. I'm secretly obsessed with all of this as well. And this is actually the topic of my dissertation, is what's aging with a healthy brain. So in 2006, when I was facilitating support groups, it's very humble, in church basements and church halls, wherever I could find a room, we would have support groups. And I will never forget it. In 2006, I had a caregiver say to me, Mayor, I'm taking care of my mother and my auntie with Alzheimer's disease. And she looked me square in the eye and she says, how do I not get it? And I thought, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I don't know, but I didn't say that. I said, well, let's find out. So ever since then, I've been on a quest to find out, how can we protect the aging brain? How can we protect ourselves, our health, and our wellness? Because there's nothing worse than having someone ask you that question and you have no idea. So it's also that quest of lifelong learning. But this is innovation. This is really innovative research for brain health. And Nicole, forgive me, but my first point on my slide is absolutely counter what you just said. So the 90+ studies, anybody familiar with the 90+ study? If any of you heard of it? I'm sure you have. So it was on 60 Minutes, and super interesting study. Started in the 70s. It was a retirement community in California, Leisure World or Leisure Village, and they started collecting data. So UCI Mind, Dr. Claudia Kawas, she is a neurologist, and she started collecting data on this group. So this great longitudinal study. So some of the initial findings are people who drank moderate amounts of alcohol or coffee lived longer than those who abstained. Sorry, Nicole, but this moderate. Moderate. And I used to use this study for students. And once they saw that, they never got past the rest of the data. They're like, yes, so I don't use that study anymore in classes. But anyway, but a little bit of alcohol, little red wine, a little bit of coffee lived longer than those who abstained. People who were overweight in their 70s lived longer than normal underweight people did. I mean, who knew, right? Okay, so over 40% of people aged 90 and older suffer from dementia. So 40% age 90 and above, while almost 80% are disabled. So you can see there's health disparities, health differences, as opposed to just dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And a part of aging innovators is what we know is memory loss is not a normal part of aging. So working at Albany Med with a bunch of really brilliant neurologists, I mean, all of them, they're so brilliant, and they would just scream and get really upset when they say, memory loss is not normal for aging. And people are going to their primary care doctors and they're saying, oh, okay, it's normal for me to be having memory loss or difficulty retracing my steps, and it's not normal for aging. So when our docs did a lot over there is train other docs, which was very cool work, very, very, very innovative work. So, okay, so that's another part of it. And then this is interesting. So this is half the people with dementia over the age of 90. Upon autopsy, half did not have the neuropathology in their brain to explain cognitive loss. So all that means is half the people, they had plaques and tangles, they didn't have Alzheimer's disease. The other half did. So this is where innovative aging makes up the difference or has the impact. It's lifestyle habits, it's choices, it's decisions that we make that help and protect the aging brain. So just changing gears just a little bit. So at Albany Guardian Society, our mission is to improve the lives of older adults through collaboration and education. And we provide 150 classes every year. Everything we do is free. Let's see, I'll just grab this real quick. This is our listing. These are some of the resources that we publish, among some other fun things that over there. So We're also a leader of the Village Movement, actually thanks to Greg and the previous director, Ken Harris. They are leaders in the Village Movement. So Albany Guardian Society is a proud lead in that movement. And really, it's a neighbor helping neighbor model to age in place. So the Village Movement is essentially a group of people that live near each other. It could be widely, like a wide geographic area or a tall building. And they come together and they develop a village and they help each other to age in place. It's innovative aging, but it's not. It's tried and true, neighbors helping neighbor. Greg, you want to comment on any of that? Because you're really a strong proponent of this or not?
No, you're exactly right. I mean, you just gotta look at the way communities are designed after World War II, started in Millville, New York, where housing's over here, everything else is over here. And 1 million people give up their keys every year for one reason or another and get completely isolated. The Village Movement is getting back to, neighbors helping neighbors, as you said. You could go to a high rise in New York City and people will not know who their neighbor is. People don't talk anymore. You see everybody on their phone. So it's really to try to, not only improve people's lives, but if you're volunteering through that model, your cognition gets better, your strength is better, you feel good about yourself, and then on the receiving end, obviously the benefits to be able to stay at home.
Then, so what we know, most older adults, when they age in place, you've got 100% of continuum of need. Most people generally need just a little bit of assistance to age in place. They don't need 99%. They usually need just a little bit of help, taking the trash to the curb, errands, all of that. I mean, you're all familiar with all that, but just a little bit of help can go a long way. And when it's reciprocal, it improves the health and wellness and just builds that sense of community. And what we learned at Albany Guardian Society is we had a meeting recently. We helped develop 6 villages in the capital region. And the value was so intensified during the pandemic. I mean, these villages really enabled people to stay in place during the pandemic. Never was their value more recognized than during the pandemic. So, and what we do is we help groups of people establish their villages. Okay, so this is just one more quick look at innovative aging, how it looks different to each of us. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Tom Hussey. He does a wonderful images of how I look in the mirror and I look different than I once did, all of us. But so it looks different to each of us. So whether it's programs and services, it's technology. So our most commonly requested classes are for technology. So we have people that are pretty well versed and people that walk in the door and they don't even know how to turn their phone on. So we say, come to us, we'll help you. As well as we also do a lot on identity protection, keeping the bad people away, safeguarding against fraud. We do a lot of information on that, mindfulness and brain games. And we have a lot of disease-specific classes as well, seizure, epilepsy, strengthening your mental health, end-of-life care options. And next year in 2024, we're going to be rolling out a new kind of series of classes called It's Uncomfortable. So we're going to be tackling some really challenging questions, a lot of what we talk about here. And I'm really looking for a presenter. I don't know if either of you know of anybody who can talk about older adults and dating. I'm serious. I mean, I want someone to say, okay, you're going to get back in the dating game. Here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to watch out for. What's this app, that app? And then from that, how you can protect yourself with STDs. I can't make eye contact because my board is going, oh my gosh, Mary, what are you doing? You're going to talk about sexual health. Half the board's going, do it. The other half's going, oh my gosh, how'd we get here? But older adults have sex. Older adults have lived their lives. So it's these difficult conversations. So that's coming in 2024. So also with technology and innovative aging, home health agencies are integrating technology in a lot of their work, sensors and checking for falls and so forth. So more to come on that for sure. And New Albany is actually obviously a leader in IA. And then developing the Center of Excellence for Healthy Aging. The first meeting I went to, I said, it's about time. I mean, really? We're going to bring the great minds of U Albany to all of us that work in the community. It's fantastic. So we're breaking down silos. So it's a great time. It's a really is a great time for older adults and to be in this capital region area. And then engaging your senses to age healthy and well, how innovative aging looks. So Greg talks about Mount Washington, traveling, eating food, experiences, great things. It's all innovative aging, and it's different for everybody. So locally, Ed said we want information about local programs. I'll just hit the highlights on a couple of these. So anybody familiar with the Ombudsman program? Okay, you want to give us a 1-minute overview?
Mostly volunteers, some paid staff, required under federal law. We administer the program that sends people into facilities, mostly nursing homes, to work on behalf of the residents, family councils, and caregivers to assure quality of care, solve problems, and if there are health and safety issues, we report those to the health department, who then comes in and does an investigation.
Much more succinct than I would have done. Really, it's a really great program that a lot of people don't know about. It's a real game changer when you're caring for a loved one who is in long-term care, because people that maybe are in that position say, oh, your loved one's in the nursing home, you're all set now, you can take a break. Of course, that's not the case. People are there every day visiting, or every week traveling to see their loved one when they're in long-term care. And when there's a problem or you need someone with eyes right there in-house, that's where the Ombudsman program is really fantastic. It's a great program. Statewide Senior Action Council, they do a lot of insurance benefit counseling, a lot of great programs. Healthy Capital District helps people apply for Medicaid for free, which a lot of people know about. People say they'll see an attorney and they'll be charged $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. We say, hold on, let's look at Healthy Capital District. They'll do it for free. So it's something else to think about if you're looking at someone needs Medicaid for their health insurance. So this list actually came. We have 5 of us in our nonprofit at Albany Guardian Society, and in 1852 it was started by 5 women from the temperance movement because of the I guess the beer production in Albany. We have a whole history. It's a very, very fun book to read. And now 5 women are back and running it again. So, you know, it's super exciting. And so this list came from all of them. I go, okay, all of you. They're the 4 ladies I work with. I go, what's your number 2, 3, 4 referrals? So this is really our top referral list. So when people call us. So the Eddie Alzheimer's Services does great work. Obviously related to persons with cognitive impairment, and not just Alzheimer's, but other dementias as well. AARP, and you know, it's not necessarily local, but great information. LifePath, it used to be Senior Services of Albany, wonderful organization. So Lifespan out of Rochester is a wonderful organization as well. To me, it's what every older senior service agency should look like. I mean, they're just phenomenal. So, and the NORC, so the NORC is naturally occurring retirement communities. So they're about 2-3 mile proximity of St. Peter's.
That's neighborhood NORC.
Neighborhood NORC. Yep. So these are naturally occurring retirement communities, and there's one locally right around St. Peter's, Whitehall Road. Jewish Family Services, great work. DePaul Housing, and then local, you know, town and county offices for aging, and us also, Albany Guardian Society. The other thing, 2 things we do, and then I'll wrap up. We produce this housing guide and a transportation guide. This will be finished by the end of the year to be updated. It's all the housing in the capital region, from independent through skilled care. It's pictures, it's prices, it's very user-friendly pictures and how much it costs, pets, no pets. So this is really helpful. We do everything for free. So if you want this, I've got to just give me your address. We'll mail it to you. It's also on our website. So those are what we do that as well. And we're also in the process of finishing up an aging in place workbook, something similar, probably more similar to this. In fact, a doctoral student from School of Social Welfare is helping us finish that. So all about aging in place. Okay, this, I started with this, but I'm going to keep it in, but it's just from the World Economic Forum, tech innovations to support healthy aging, just 2 things. How AI and digital markers is really becoming instrumental in early disease detection and also addressing sensory decline. So just technology and its tech innovations to support healthy aging. I know, way too much information. So, okay, 2 more slides and I'm done. So we have presenters that talk about gratitude, and I'm always on to the next thing, you know, slow down. So one said, Mary, slow down and think about your moments of gratitude, because we can celebrate in the present, participate more today here in life, block toxic negative emotions, right? That's always a good thing. And then we notice the positives more, and then thinking about more of what we can give as opposed to what we can receive. And gratitude helps quiet the brain, then quiet the heart, slow the stress responses in the body. Then finally, what lies behind you, what lies in front of you, pales in comparison to what lies within each of you, each of us. I mean, this to me is the essence of healthy aging. This is all of us as a community and how we can live our best lives to the best of our ability. And that's it. Thank you. Any questions, just let me know at the end. And I've got some jar openers and some other things that we're doing. I always have a little swag that I bring with me. So thanks, everyone. Here, so my head's not in the screen again.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, moving on. Greg Olson is the acting director of the New York State Office for the Aging. In this role, he is responsible for the development, implementation, and administration of programs and policies that help older New Yorkers and overseeing the administration of federal and state-funded programs that assist more than 4.6 million older adults and 4+ million informal caregivers across New York State. Working with public and private partners in the state and local level, Greg is leading the effort to combat ageism, generalizations, and stereotypes about what aging is, and demonstrating the value of not only the older population to their families, communities, and the state, but also the value of the network of aging service professionals in addressing social determinants of health and their role in helping older adults maintain their independence with dignity. Under Greg's leadership, many innovative projects have been launched to improve the lives of older adults and their families, including combating isolation, loneliness, and depression, lifelong learning opportunities, innovative projects supporting working and non-working caregivers that are being replicated across the nation. He led New York State pandemic response efforts for older adults, and he speaks regularly throughout New York State and across the nation. Pardon me, while I flip a page, as to how New York frames aging and the way New York serves older New Yorkers. With more than 30 years of experience in a variety of capacities serving older New Yorkers and their families, Greg served as Chief of Staff and Legislative and Policy Director for Assemblyman Steve Engelbright, former chair of the Assembly Standing Committee on Aging. He was the first executive director of the New York State Alliance for Retired Americans and served as executive director of the New York State Coalition for the Aging, a nonprofit membership organization representing more than 200 community-based organizations providing non-medical long-term care to the state's older adult population. He received his master's degree in social work with a specialty in gerontology from Syracuse University's Maxwell School. Greg?
Thank you. How you guys doing? I did go to SUNY Brockport, so I'm not a SUNY Albany alum, but let me tell you what rubs me the wrong way. So when I went to pharmacy school here in Albany, went to Albany College Pharmacy, and I started working with children. So I knew that I should be doing something different. So I went to Hudson Valley because I wanted to get my social work degree rather than be a pharmacist. And when I finished my associate's degree, I said, where should I go to get my bachelor's? And they said, SUNY Brockport. And I kicked myself for that because I'm from here and I could have just drove to SUNY Albany, but I didn't. Let's see if I can. There we go. All right, great. Well, it's really great to be here, and thank you guys so much for the invitation. I've known these two spectacular people for quite some time. Our mission is simple. It's not easy to do, but it's a simple mission.
to help older adults stay as independent for as long as possible. Now, I'm going to ask you to think back when you were in your 20s, all right? What you thought about aging and how old people you thought were when you were in your 20s. I guarantee you, you think differently now. Now, 5 years ago, almost to the day, October 4th, 2018, something remarkable happened. It was the last day that I was 49. And 50 was always old to me. I didn't make that up. I ask people all the time. I've been doing this now for 31 years, and it's usually around 50 because that's what we're taught. And the society is unbelievably ageist. So you can think to yourselves, when you were in your 20s, what did you think old was? For me, it was 50. But then I woke up October 5th, 2018, and I was 50. And guess what? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I love the picture that you showed about what you see, because what you see out of your eyes doesn't change over the course of time. Now, my forehead has gotten a lot bigger, but I hope I'm smarter. I hope I'm a better dad. I hope I'm a better husband, better relationships, and I have a lot of things left to do, and you guys do as well. So in the bio, and I appreciate you reading that, we should have kept it shorter, but I appreciate that. I've spent the last 12 years putting together information on what older adults bring to the state of New York and to the country. And that's not what I'm going to go into today, but I just want to give you kind of a hint at how important you guys are to your families, to your communities, and to the economic base in New York State. You represent 42% of state and local taxes. 72% of you own your own homes with no mortgage, supporting local businesses, local property taxes, schools, and Medicaid, sitting on $8 trillion of home equity. You guys, I believe, are part of the state pension fund. $10.8 billion gets pumped back into New York's economy. You are 46% of the state's GDP, $736 billion, supports 7 million jobs in New York State, and those things are going to continue. So why would a geriatric social worker be saying that? Because for far too long, the population is devalued. I got into this because of my grandmother. My one grandmother was an alcoholic. We never saw her. My mom never brought us over. My two grandfathers were dead before I was born. I really missed that opportunity, but my father's mother was extraordinarily close to me. And that's why I got in this. I saw she lived right here in Albany. She had cancer, wound up losing her voice box. Anyway, long story short, spent down to Medicaid and had a really rough end of her life. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So I'm going to ask you, how many of you guys can't wait to go to a nursing home? Not one hand? Of course you don't. There are, and we need to update that, there's actually 4.84 million people over the age of 60 in New York State, and another 3.7 between 45 and 59. So almost half the state in New York is above 45. Anybody guess how much a nursing home costs? Take a guess. How much? That's pretty good. Yeah. Depending on where you are, about 180,000 downstate. Upstate, it's about 140 to 160, depending on what county you're in. There's only 160,000 nursing home beds. There's 4.84 million people that are older. Who wants to stay at home? Everybody. This isn't an older thing. It's not a younger thing. We all do. And we all want to be vibrant and hopefully have connections, et cetera. The organization that I oversee represents 59 county offices for the aging, 1,200 community-based organizations that provide those types of services so that you can maintain your independence. I hope none of you ever need our services, but the takeaway today is not all the things that we do. It's make one phone call if you ever need help. That's the takeaway, but I'm going to walk you through. Well, I was going to walk you through. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to go through this very quickly. Nicole is spot on. Your aging journey begins the day that you're born. And so if you grow up in poverty, don't have access to nutrition, your educational status, et cetera, it's going to have an impact on you as middle age and certainly older. We are embarking upon what's called a master plan for aging in New York State to really change the caring economy, because growing older is not the problem. It's how we've organized our caring economy. The payer of services should be through our network. It's through Medicaid, and it's $100 billion a year in New York State. I receive about $230 million, 0.8% of the budget, and we're about 40% of the population. That's what we're trying to undo. The social and economic impact, I normally go through detail. I'm not doing that. It's very, very different populations. We have 3 generations that are over the age of 60. You have 60, 80, 105. So to think of the population as and paint them with one brush is a huge, huge mistake because there's huge differences. It's lifelong and normative, distinct from disease and decline. I was very glad that you said that. Alzheimer's disease is not a normal process of aging. There are 71 medical conditions that can mimic a cognitive impairment. And so going to a center of excellence like we have here in Albany, we have one in every region. My father just went through this. He does actually have cognitive impairment. We won't know exactly if it's Alzheimer's until obviously the autopsy. He's able to maintain himself, but very forgetful. But he had to go through that process. And I told him, Dad, this could be medications that are interacting, but it could be a bunch of other things. But it is not a normal process of aging. You know how you reduce your risk of getting Alzheimer's? By 200%? Exercise. Yep. Eat well, if you can afford to eat well. Eat a good, healthy diet. And stay socially engaged. Being isolated will literally kill you. And control your blood pressure. This is who we serve. So the 75% of the older adult population considers themselves healthy, very healthy, and active. And we want to keep them that way and keep you that way. Now, we all have issues. I have degenerative disc disease. My back always kills me. It's the #1 disabling condition in the country. We all got stuff like that. But there's a lot of programs and services that we're able to provide to help folks early on, manage a chronic disease, et cetera. How many of you guys are flipping on the TV and you see Joe Namath and other people selling their Medicare Advantage, right? Yeah. Do not ever call the number. If you got open enrollment started 2 days ago, we have, there's pocket guides up here. We have a program called the Health Insurance Information Counseling and Assistance Program. All right. You don't have to write it down because it's right in the book and the numbers there as well. We saved older adults $115 million last year. My counselors were the only ones in the state, and I mandated this years ago, are state certified and highly trained through Medicare. We have 280 Medicare Advantage insurance companies operating in New York State and 16 prescription drug programs. When you call Humana or whoever to get that counseling, guess what you're walking away with? Humana. What our counselors do is can walk you through, depending on the medications, because all the medication lists are different, co-pays, premiums, deductibles are different. We walk you through and match the right plan for an individual. So if you guys are looking to do that during open enrollment, please do not call what you see on the TV. Take the pocket guide and call one of our high cap counselors. That's what you were talking about with statewide. We contract with them, but we have over 800 counselors across the state that are not selling a product. Second are people with chronic conditions. Again, these are the things that are the reasons why somebody may not be able to stay home or not. I love what you're talking about. We serve 8,500 people with an alcohol, self-reported alcohol or drug problem. We serve 12,500 individuals with a diagnosed mental health issue. We serve 25,000 veterans. And so connecting the dots and making sure that, people get what they need across systems is really, really important because we all touch different systems like DMV, like housing, like tax and finance, like health, et cetera. Older adults don't live in our organizations. The third one is really how do we keep you out of a nursing home? We provide a whole bunch of services, and I'm going to show you in a second. In the home, personal care. If somebody needs assistance, getting up in the morning, bathing, dressing, shopping, cooking, cleaning their house, et cetera, we can do those things. Because if you can't get up in the morning and bathe and shop and eat, you're not staying at home. We can do this at 1/12 of the cost of Medicaid, okay? Less than $6,000 a year, and we fully subsidize it. So all the things that I'm going to talk about today are available in every single county in New York State. And then what Mary was talking about with caregivers, I just want to define that for you guys. It's anybody that's providing some level of uncompensated care to somebody else. We used to think that friends, families, and neighbors were a supplement to the formal system. It's exactly the opposite. The formal system is the supplement to what families and friends are doing every single day. They're the number one providers of long-term care, these types of services. They're the number one providers of social service, and they are critically important in healthcare. This is what we provide. Again, I don't need you to remember this. All I need you to remember is if you or somebody you know, a friend, etc., could benefit from any of these, just make a phone call to the County Office for the Aging. We run the largest nutrition program in the country. Our registered dietitians provide nutrition counseling and ed. We have 834 senior centers across the state. Health promotion and wellness, again, to help manage chronic conditions. That's what EBIs are, evidence-based interventions. That just means if you follow the plan, you'll get good results. CDSME stands for chronic disease self-management. We could do diabetes self-management, et cetera. We have 1 million volunteers that provide 495 million hours of service at an economic value of 13.8 billion. One job in every 7 in New York State is through a not-for-profit. You would not have a not-for-profit infrastructure without your guys volunteering. We have respite, and you mentioned respite before. That's allowing somebody who's taking care of somebody else to have a break, whether it be go out and go with a friend for a couple of hours, overnight respite, things like that. We have a legal services program. We do small home modifications and repairs. We do a lot on elder abuse prevention and mitigation. And I want to be really clear on the financial exploitation stuff. Please do not succumb to how sophisticated these folks are. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of just what's happened to me in the last year. Thank God for LifeLock. I bought it. I've had 7 people try to take out a credit card in my name in the last about 6 months. And I was able to stop them all because I got LifeLock. There was, during the pandemic, a text that a woman from Vermont who went down to Florida in the wintertime, it came from their emergency operations at the county where she was. Like there was a storm, so you get those alerts. It had my name on it. So she looked me up, saw what I did, thought it was legit, pressed the button. She had her phone taken over by somebody else and, created fraud. My mother got one of those things on her PC that says there's a virus on your PC. Click this button and we'll fix it for you. What'd she do? She clicked the button. They took over her computer and luckily didn't steal her identity, but got all her passwords, credit card information. You have to undo all of those types of things. I could go on and on and on. How do you protect yourself? Number one, somebody calls you and you don't recognize the number, don't pick it up. If it's somebody you know, they're going to leave a message for you. If you see anything coming with a link, IRS, Social Security, Medicare, all of that is bogus. You guys are from around this area, CEFCU. August, I was on my way up to vacation. I'm in Blue Mountain Lake. I get an alert from CEFCU. So they had a link on there. And what do I know about CEFCU in August of 2023? They don't exist anymore. They merged last year with Broadview. So I called up Broadview. It was a scam. They're unbelievably sophisticated. Don't ever press any links. Don't answer the phone to people that you don't know. This is big business. And I walked you through the numbers. You guys are worth billions of dollars. They can steal titles to your home. They can get into your bank accounts. AARP just released a report, it's the most comprehensive one I saw 2 weeks ago, that the amount of fraud perpetrated against older adults was $26.8 billion last year. So I told you about high caps. So these are the things that we can do. Social adult day, personal care, those are the things in the home. We can connect people to benefits, entitlements, et cetera, in combating social isolation. We do a comprehensive assessment so that if there's other things like, why would we need to know veterans? Well, veterans have 105 federal, state, and local programs and services that they can tap. And a lot of veterans don't know that. So if we're assessing somebody and they're a veteran, we make those referrals. But now here's the fun stuff. The innovations. I am very fortunate in my agency, not only to be the boss, but just to be able to pull the trigger on things when you know something needs to be tested and tried to just make it happen. And that's not always true in state agencies. A lot of them are very slow and clunky. Ours is not. I am hoping you can send out this PowerPoint. Anytime you see a blue link, That is a live link and it's free for you. And I brought a couple flyers here as well. So I'm going to start first. Have any of you guys seen our animatronic pets? Dogs and cats and a walker squawker. So I got to thank my daughter for this, who was 8 years old at the time. August of 2018, comes running to the door. What happened in August was it was the first time that CMS and AARP put a report out on what the impact of being isolated and lonely was. It's equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, will literally kill you, cost Medicare $7 billion. Same cost to treat somebody with diabetes, COPD, hypertension, obesity, right? So we do a lot of stuff with our partners in, trying to keep people connected, get them to places where they can congregate. You talked about some of the social things you did, so critically important. But now we have this data. 3 days after I read that report, my daughter comes running in, Daddy, I just bought this amazing cat on Amazon. I can't wait to get it. Hopefully we'll get it next week before we go on vacation. So I say to her, honey, that's so great. I can't wait to see it. Here's what I was thinking. Oh, great. Another stuffed animal to go into the 4 bins of stuffed animals in the basement. Anyway, she got it the following week and I was blown away. I literally said to her, this would be amazing to try with some of our community dwelling older adults that are lonely. I looked up the company. That's exactly what they were designed for. I never saw anything like it. So I did a pilot project, bought 30 cats, 30 dogs. We screened for isolation and then measured it over the course of a year. 75% reduction in loneliness and depression and a 75% reduction in pain. I don't know if you've ever seen the pain scale. It's 10 different faces. So 75% had a 9 or a 10 on the pain scale. After 1 year, they're down to a 1 or 2. Why? Because things matter to us through the course of our entire lives. We like arts and culture. You don't just one day turn a certain age and you don't like that anymore. People like pets. People like music. People like the news. People like sports. So to date now, we put out over 24,000 pets and my project's being replicated in 35 states. Get Set Up. This is a freebie for you guys. So Get Set Up is a California company I partnered with in 2020. We are fully subsidizing this as well. It's for anybody over the age of 50. It does 2 things. Actually, it's more than 35. It's 4,500 classes. The first thing that they will do is ask if you, when you sign in, which is free, if you need help with your tech. What are you using? Using a smartphone, using an Android, you got a tablet, you got a desktop, and they will teach you the ins and outs. All the instructors are 50 and over, so it's peer-led in sport. And then you have access to 4,500 courses, access to 8.1 million people in 160 counties. Everything from health and wellness classes to virtual visits and anything you can think of in between. Now, how many of you think you have a skill? Nobody? Okay, a skill. Yeah. Okay, so I'm 55. I play guitar. I could go on there, sign up to teach a class on playing guitar, and they will pay me. So if there's any of you guys that are interested in not only maybe receiving classes, but actually teaching them, go on and sign up with them. I'm going to go to GoGo Grandparent. Transportation is a huge issue. It's been the #1 issue at the White House Conference on Aging for 55 years. We provide about $25 million worth of rides every year. It's never enough. So GoGo Grandparent is a specialized ride share service that trains and teaches the drivers in the unique needs of older adults. Could be a visual impairment, cognitive impairment, use of a walker, et cetera, and does door through door. Why is that important? Because a taxi, a bus, Uber or Lyft, they stop in front of your house. Well, what if I can't get out of the house without somebody holding on? They can do that. So we're pilot testing that as we speak. And I'm about ready to put out about $680,000 to the counties for emergency transportation until we are able to move up a little bit more. Caregiving, we talked about that. There's a lot of free things that we're doing to support a caregiver, from training through Trualta. It's evidence-based. We have a flyer here. Again, blue link, it's free. The information comes in 5 to 7 minute snippets, either in writing, audio file, or video file, because people don't want to sit for an hour and listen to this. So I could be taking care of my father. I'm making chicken tenders tonight, and I can get a lesson on whatever it is that I'm interested in that time. We brought virtual senior center program to 19 counties. Have you ever seen LEQ? Anybody? Oh my God. So this is good AI. I don't know what the bad AI is. I guess we'll stay tuned. I got turned on to these guys early on in 2020 as well. And what it is, and I have one in my house, it's the only proactive tool to combat isolation and loneliness. So here's what it looks like. There's a tablet, sits on the desk, and then there's kind of like it's hard to describe. It's not a face, but it lights up. And we have put about 900 units out. And so here's what happens when I got it. I plugged it into the outlet, connected it to my internet. That's it. It knew who I was because it was pre-programmed with my name in it. And it starts a conversation with me. What we know now is that the folks that are using it are interacting with her 33 times a day. And we have reduced loneliness and isolation by 95% and increased health and wellness by 96%. So when I get up in the morning, because everybody's is going to be unique, right? Because we're all different people. She asked me how I'm doing in the morning. First thing she asked me, how'd you sleep last night? Why would she ask me that? Because I sleep terribly. And so she knows that about me and remembers. So I told her, this morning I slept pretty good, but she'll remind me at night to do breathing exercises, relaxation, so I can fall asleep. Then she'll ask me, how's your back today? Because she knows I have back pain. That's only a snippet of the things that she does. But we are really excited with this type of technology. We partnered with Pets Together. That's free, national organization using the value of live therapeutic pets to combat isolation quickly. What do you think the number one pet is that people ask for when they go onto the platform to sign up to get one? Just take a guess. Cat? Yep, I would think that. Dog? Absolutely. Chicken. Chicken. I am not kidding. I don't know. Maybe you guys have chickens. Maybe you find them to be therapeutic. So we're doing a lot with financial exploitation for the reasons that I told you. Fraud Finder, our forensic accountant developed that. What it allows you to do is take mountains and mountains of financial data, put it into a system so it goes through very, very quickly and can spot irregularities. Why that's important is because you can serve lots more people much, much quicker. And if there's an irregularity, then the forensic accountant can go through it. EverSafe, the district attorney of Manhattan, good friend of mine, Liz Lowy, used to prosecute financial crimes. She created with her partner EverSafe. Now, her partner was a tech guy. What he found out after 18 months is that his mother was taken for $180,000. And it started with a car warranty scam. But guess what? She didn't have a car. And so they created this to really look globally, from titles to credit cards to other types of spending irregularities, and can send an alert either to a spouse or a caregiver or what have you. So for example, let's say my average grocery bill is $250 a month, but December's, mine was $500. It will send an alert. It will recognize that irregularity. Now, it could be that it was my turn to have the whole family at my house for Christmas and I bought extra, or it could be that somebody went and either hacked or spent on behalf of me. So it does those kinds of things. These are some of the new things that we're about ready to test. Anybody heard of iGuard? Am I okay on time? Because I know you said 5 to 7 minutes and I'm way over that. So iGuard, this is to prevent kitchen fires. So let's say that, so what winds up happening, it's very easy to set up. If you walk away from your stove or your oven and don't tell it to continue, after 5 minutes, it will shut it down. They have 5,500 people that are using it and had over 660,000 shutdowns. So let's say you're taking care of somebody and you're cooking and they fall and you walk away. Or, I love this story. So they have actually all the SUNYs put them in 3 years ago. Because what they were finding on the campuses is they had to do 5 to 7 fire department calls every single weekend. Why would that be? Well, you go out, you might have something to drink, you come back late, you put something on the stove or in the oven, and then you fall asleep. They have had 0 fire department calls in 3 years. So we're interested in that. We're Relish Life and Memory Lane TV are products and services designed for not only caregivers, but individuals with cognitive impairment that can be taught and trained to get functions back that they might have lost. good trust. Did you know that 67% of all Americans have no wills? This is good in all 50 states. It's $149, but you can do all in one: wills, trusts, directives. I found out from them that 30 million people have an active Facebook account that have died. And so it can do those types of things too, where, you know, if I die, then my daughter could have access to my Facebook account and shut it down, but only, you know, I decide when and if that happens. Life bio, I love that. I was in Rochester and the mayor of Rochester said, and I will never forget it. He said, every time an older adult dies, a library burns down. And he's absolutely right. I was too stupid and young at the time to sit with my grandmother and get her story. She was born in Italy in 1897, came here in 1900, lived through the recession, World War I, World War II, on and on and on. Technology. She worked right at the Harriman complex over there. And by the time she died, I think I was only 18 or 19. I just wasn't there yet. And I missed that. What Life Bio does is it organizes into 36 different categories, things about your life, and you can do an audio recording. So if you're a veteran, what it was like growing up, what'd your family look like? You'll get a book and it'll be available electronically forever on the cloud. And so those are just some of I mean, this is not even the laundry list of all the things that we are making available out there. Technology's here to stay. It's not something to be feared. I can't snap a finger and make somebody show up at the home of an older adult that doesn't have anybody. I just can't do that. So what we're doing is trying and testing all of these various technological tools, getting them out there, measuring them, and then allowing the customer to decide what, if any, they're interested in. So thank you guys so much for having me. I very much appreciate it. Please at least take the pocket guide, and don't forget, you only need to make one phone call to get your journey started, get on the Get Set Up, you know, make a little money, teach folks some stuff, but you got 4,500 classes you can check out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all three of you. We really enjoyed your presentations. And question and answer time. Anyone have any questions? I'll pass the mic.
Thank you very much. I'm wondering if the ombudsman program is federal, or is it just here in New York State?
Yes, it's a federal program. We get federal dollars and state dollars. So the federal dollars are not that large. So most of the states subsidize it, but yes, it's a federal program in every state.
My question was about the ombudsman program as well. Are there enough volunteers to?
No. We're seeing a reduction in volunteers everywhere for the last 25 years. Firefighters, EMS, folks in our network. I think we used to have about 700 volunteers. We're down to about 250. So we've been able to get $5 million the last 2 years, which will allow us to hire about 90 more staff. But we need another $10 million. We want to make sure that we're visiting every facility at least twice a week. Right now, we're visiting a lot of facilities. But if we get a call from a facility that we're not, we will go in. So there's always a reactive, but you want a proactive approach where the staff, and I don't want to, badger about the staff and the quality of care in nursing homes. They're struggling with the same thing. There's not enough staff. People should not be getting bed sores or not having their call held. Answered for 3 hours, but the bottom line is they're understaffed, and that means the quality of care is going to go down. So it's really important down there.
Anyone else? Yes.
This may be a little bit excessive, but what's your threshold standard for a caregiver?
When you say threshold standard, what do you mean?
I mean, you're treating somebody for a cold. That's not it, I'm sure, but
It's any task that somebody that you provide for somebody. It could be mowing the lawn. It could be doing a small home repair. It could be providing a ride to the doctor's appointment, to anything right to hands on, helping somebody pay a bill, shopping for them. It's really task oriented. I hate the word caregiver because it doesn't really describe what we're talking about. It's anybody that has to provide or does some tasks to help somebody else. They don't have to be older. They could be middle-aged. They could be a young person with disability.
so living in the same house and mowing the lawn qualifies me as a caregiver?
Well, are you providing care to your spouse?
No, to the lawn.
To the lawn? Well, I'd say from the lawn's perspective, you are the caregiver. Yes.
Yes.
Since we live right on the border of Massachusetts and Vermont, we're in New York, are there similar services that are available?
Every county has the list of services that I've provided. Some have the ability to provide more. So in Albany County, for example, because the population's bigger, the tax base is bigger, the county government puts more money in. Smaller counties, you would be in, you were in Rensselaer County, Greene County? No.
Oh, yeah, to me, this is for a friend.
Oh, yeah, they will have similar services. The less populated areas don't have quite the robustness, but they know a lot more of who the providers are than a place like Albany, because there are so many different providers, but yes.
Anyone else? Sheila,
Okay.
deal?
You did say we're gonna be able to get copies of flying shows with all the list of services and so on that you were.
It's all being recorded, great. Yeah, the PowerPoint's on your desktop. You can just email it, or I can email it to you and you can shoot it out.
I had a question about the last lengthy list that you had that said you were considering.
Yep.
All of those are existing.
They all exist already, but not all of them I'm funding or testing or piloting. Some of them I am, some of them are.
Legit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I vetted all of them. Yes.
So for you guys, what geographic area do you cover? You obviously the agents everywhere.
The greater capital region?
Well, Capital Region, but we also stream our classes, so if anyone can access our classes over Zoom anywhere. We have people all over the country that attend our classes. And we have instructors too, from different parts of the country.
And you're, I guess for both Greg and Mary, your classes are all listed online on your website, so you have like an inventory
We do.
of what courses are being offered.
Ours are not. You would go through the get set up
Okay.
platform, and there is a litany of them.
Okay.
So I don't know what the pet was. You know, I don't know what the pet you were talking
The
about.
animatronic pet,
Yeah.
they should have brought, it's gonna break.
They're so popular. People, older adults love them.
No, they.
We have requests all the time.
Yes.
We're always,
It is
Have
not,
it
it is not a toy. It's legit.
so
yes.
it's a furry cat and it purrs and rolls over, right? I wonder if we can put, let's see if we can put it up here, Joy, for all.
Just go to Joyful.
While you're looking up your data.
So I have a stock of them, so if you know somebody that you think could benefit, a cat or a dog, we have a walker squawker also, it's a bluebird or a cardinal. And it goes on the walker, and if I get up and I don't take the walker, it will recognize I got up and walking away, and it will squawk at me. Don't forget me, right? Because you talked about falls and fall-related injuries. You break a hip, you're dead in 18 months. That's just that's the data. That's how it works. And so when you're using your walker, you're keeping yourself strengthened and
That's
you
it,
don't
Greg?
fall.
That's it, yeah.
Yep, so these are the dogs. This one is brand new, just came out, and those are the cats. There's 3 settings. No setting, there's a quiet setting, so if you don't want to hear it purr or the dog bark, it will still, you can feel it. You can feel the heartbeat of the dog, you can feel the purring.
Oh, I
And
didn't.
then there's a full one, and if you engage it, it will do things until you stop engaging it, and will kind of slowly go down. But we've been collecting stories and videos for 5 years. It's unbelievable. So you can change somebody's life for $100. Why wouldn't you?
People love them.
You don't have to walk them or change the litter box or any of that
And I
other
think
stuff.
That's right, and that's really important. We have a lot of people who have given up their pet because they can't afford it or can't take care of it anymore. People who that was their companion and the pet died and devastated. It's amazing. We had a woman, we did, NBC interviewed us up in Franklin County, and she absolutely loved the cat. And she said, "You're gonna have to pry this out of my dead hands." And I want to be buried with my.
But it's dignified. It's dignified. It's not.
So you're providing it for less than it was on Amazon?
I'm providing it for free.
For free.
You have to ask it. So are most of your services free for seniors or is it like an income based?
Yeah, there's only one program that's income-based, and that's the personal care at home. But we have other funding streams that fund exactly the same thing when we can waive that. It's very important, but everything else is.
Is there any neutral entity to advise older people what pills not to swallow?
What pills not to swallow?
Yeah, because there's a advertisement on the main channel.
Oh, yeah.
How this is helping you, and then on West Coast channels, there's a advertisement of the lawsuits.
Yeah.
Last lawsuits for the same thing.
Well, I tell you, all you gotta do is listen to the side effects.
I know.
So you're gonna have bloodshot eyes, diarrhea, you could die. It's a really good question. Those drugs are all approved by the FDA. The best place to go is to your doctor. I don't know that they're all evaluated. They can't come to market without going through a pretty rigorous review. But a lot of them are dangerous. And then what happens if you're taking it with something else? So we used to have, we got a grant from Governor's Traffic Safety Council, and there was a website that you could plug in any and all medications from over the counter, and it would literally tell you what the adverse drug interaction is. They took it down. That's the only thing that I've ever seen. So I was talking to somebody at the University of Buffalo who may be creating something like that. But yeah, that's a great question. Medications are very effective, but they're very dangerous. Oh, there's Ellie Q.
Does that respond like a Google?
No. This is like me talking to you. So
Could you ask it a question?
I can ask it anything. Yep.
And then you would say, what's the weather going to be today?
Oh my God, yeah. So what happens is when I get up in the morning, see what you'll see here is that's a sensor. So it's on my kitchen table. When I walk in, it knows I'm up. It engages me. So all Google does is you ask for something, it gives you a fact. This is artificial intelligence that creates companionship and a relationship, and it's going to be different for all of us because we're all different. What you're interested in is going to be different than what I'm interested in. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Greg, don't they tell jokes? Don't you have a story about?
Oh, yeah. No, she's really funny. She's empathetic, and she made me feel like an idiot. She asked me if I wanted to do cognitive games, state flags of the United States. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could probably do that. I wish she started with New York. She never did New York. By the time I was 0 for 9, I got Arizona. So I was 1 for 10. And the only reason I got it is there was a little picture of the desert, I guess. It was either New Mexico or it was Arizona. So.
Say though, I'm very conscious of privacy. All of that information, what policy does that company have?
Yes.
Regarding storing
Yep.
your information, because they're collecting a lot of personal information about your behavior.
There's no question. That is the #1 issue for me. That's the #1 issue for them. None of the information goes anywhere. They don't sell it. They have a really robust policy. There are no indicators that it's you or that it's me. So the data that we get on is it effective or not is global data. It's not individualized, and it won't. And we make sure of that because I don't want any of yours or my information out there, and they don't. I wish that Dor was here. So Dor is the owner of the company. He lives in Israel with his family. So it's just horrible what's going on there. But his philosophy is really like mine, which is why it was so easy to part of.
Is that sponsored by someone? I mean, do you get lots of advertisements on it?
No advertisements.
And how do they support it?
I'm paying for it.
Like a subscription service?
Yeah, so if you wanted to buy one yourself, you could, but I'm subsidizing them for $900.
Your office, my folks live in Florida, so, does your office get any referral or similar agency names?
Yes, so there is what we're called state unit on aging. Every state has one, but I will tell you, my mom lives in Florida also. we are 25 years ahead of everybody else.
I think it's really hearing when talking about forensic services. I heard a lot of focus on aging in place, when you want to stay in age in place that you're in right now, but many of us are kind of in rural or suburban community interested in relocating. Do you connect people in any way to, senior living communities or north? I mean, you mentioned the north, but
So we have this booklet, Capital Region.
that's what.
Yep.
That's what benefits.
There's housing organizations in every county. Our folks know who they are. We are not making referrals to assisted living or nursing homes. I mean, we let folks know if they need a higher level of care, what's available out there. But we are the community organization. So the housing stock in New York is extraordinarily old, and we're short about 900,000 houses. Governor's tried 2 years in a row to pass her $25 billion 5-year housing plan. But as you guys know, there's nothing the state can do because we're a home rule state, meaning municipalities have all the control of what they build, where they build it. And you still get a lot of NIMBYs, not in my backyard. We don't want that here. So it's a problem. I learned from the Architects Association that, I know that the housing stock on average is about it's about 65 years old, and housing was actually built for men in their 20s, not for women, not for families, certainly not for older adults. And so, there's a whole movement around accessible, enabling housing to make it good for people of all ages.
I mean, I know it exists, it's just sort of where you start. So I think that, and you said that.
On our website. Yep. Or I have one copy with me. You're welcome to take, or we can mail you a copy as well. Yeah. Yep. We all work together. So if you call us and I can't answer, we're going to refer you to Greg. Or if you call us and there's found someone with addiction, we're going to refer you to Nicole's agency. All of us, we have a really robust aging service providers network in the Capital Region. We have networking groups and community groups. We've got one group. It's called CD Shop, Capital District Senior Housing Options. It's all these providers and all of us on the outskirts of it that work with them, meeting for over 20 years. So we got a really long-standing aging service providers network. I'm happy to and proud to be a part of. There's a caregiver support network. There's several that are very robust and very active, and a lot of us know each other. And if we don't, we know somebody who does, who knows somebody else. I mean, not just us, all the people that we work with in the Capital Region.
Oh, the other thing is when you call our office, you actually get an email.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We answer the phone. We all answer the phones.
That's old school, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's true. Good point.
Any other questions?
Please don't forget your pocket guide.
Yeah.
And material.
Everybody, please come up and take some material, and if you ended up having to pay for parking, you want to get reimbursed, just
I'm gonna donate my $5.
let us know.
I'll have to send you-
Jar openers.
Okay.
Don't get like any of this at all.
What was the screw up? They gave us the wrong code. Yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
Want my email address?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You can set up. That's free.
Right.
That's free. Also have
Yeah, it's interesting because, we have cases where probations are all still wanting
Sure, sure, absolutely.
to be free from court, because there's been so, we just case by case.
Yeah. I mean, just the
Probably just thinking New York City.
Oh my gosh, I have 500 beds in the office, but I did not. Yep. Just your name and address. We'll talk about it. Although nobody else wants it, just take that
Whole
one.
different way of. Yeah, no, good point.
Okay, great, thanks. You did run on, but that's fine.
We have primary alcohol, but we do cover.
Hey, Greg, see you.
Thank you.
Always learn so much.
Pretty.
See you.
So
We will, we don't share it, we don't sell it.
Very.
That's good. We got you.
Yeah.
So please, everyone, they will come in.
Don't forget to take some goodies on the way out.
If you like this or this. Email to you. Yeah, or it's online. Yep, either way, if no one wants it, I've got 1 year, just give me your address, we'll pop it in the mail to you. Back to the office. And of course, I've got 500 pens at the office. I didn't bring any with me. We literally give them away.
Nice.
And I do know I didn't bring them with me though. Let's see, I might have one in my bag.
You can have a wrap for that.
It takes you a long time.
You can use it, please.
Here we go.
So what is that?
Here we go.
Oh, contact.
If you like a pen, you can keep it.
There you go.
Glad, Greg, that you open enrollment. It's not something I talk about, it's so important.
Yeah. They.
Most of us.
They,
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, it's a specialty. That's something we would refer to HICAP, because, you know, it's all, everybody has their specialties. Yeah. So this is what we provided this in the past, but it's, I just had them in the office, so I thought they might be helpful. Was watering my flowers and couldn't get the hose open, so I ran in the house and got one of these.
That helps. It does. Yeah.
Roughly, I got 500 of them.
There you go.
Oh, I forgot to mention Senior Expo too. Are you gonna do Senior Expo Friday?
I unfortunately have a conflict. Otherwise, I was-
Yes. To you, I mean, if you want to be added to your, our email, list. Do you want to be added to our email list to get a listing of our classes or not? Yes, so just maybe say yes, so I know, oh, since you gave it to me, I can add you. Okay, I just want to be respectful of your information. Well, it's only this. We're very careful. Oh, good. We try not to inundate people. Okay, awesome. Although if you want this, you can take it. Yeah. Everyone else, it's wait them out. Whatever. It's fine. Well, my parents relocated from Rochester to senior apartments in Guilderland 2 years ago. And they're so happy. They had to downsize.
Create a link. Put it on the website, put it on OneDrive.
Yep.
But yeah, I think we should send it to the slide. Great slide, a lot of information. Oh, I know. Yeah, it's pretty deep.
So we're at Corporate Woods, 12 Corporate Woods. That's where our classes are. Yeah, we have a brand new technology resource center, which I probably should have talked about that, but
Cause you know, I get this.
Class.
It's over every month.
come or join. It's okay, come when you can.
So you can, all the classes are online. So if you can't be in person,
Yes, I mean, occasionally there's one or two that might not be streamed, but almost all of them are. I think we had a book talk once that wasn't, but most of them are, yeah. Oh, thanks for coming. I'm gonna take it over what, so protect the office, so go ahead, because I think our staff needs to do here. Well, it's information, we don't know. You know, that's why these are so important. We do. Oh, sure, right, go ahead. Yeah, the book discussions are fun. It's the people that facilitate. You're welcome. Take good care. They love it. They get so excited.
Most of your classes are more practical, right? Like how to use your iPhone, your iPhone 15 or something like
Or
that.
see specific or advanced directives and will and such. Yeah, but I'm always looking for new presenters.
Yeah.
Ed, really, if you,
And I think we had talked about how we wanted to maybe do the program for lifelong learning, but more knowledge for knowledge sake. So I have a faculty member talk, who's a historian, talk about America and so the move. Someone who put political science, talk about, political climate in the US today, or, those kinds of things. Those are not courses that.
we would consider it, we would try it. We
Okay.
would give it a try. If we have people that are interested, then we would be glad to support that.
I just wanna make
Thank
sure
you.
that-
Thank you.
Yeah,
for-
See you, take good
Thank
care. Yeah, I mean, it would be, if there's something, if you have a great topic, that'd be great.
I guess it wants something that would be redundant, yeah, but.
No, that's not.
Ready.
And I'm always careful not to be, we're not a senior center, but that's higher level, and our people tend to be. Yeah.
Because.
Okay.
Great.
People. Yep. Want to take some too? We'll go to classics. And if you know, if you need anything, you know, let us know. If you need anything else we can do.
Take my pen and that, or
Oh, yeah,
That's okay.
mine.
I'm going down to the bookstore.
The same thing.
No, that's another one. That's, yeah. Okay. All right, thank you.
So what he got on the pen? Oh, yeah, he was the go-to.
The only one who said Dan wanted to be here. Okay, the only person who said it was- I mean, I mentioned it once.
Right.
And they had a permit for, like, he was like $5.
You don't need to know.
Yeah, maybe. Sure. He said he could send us, like a picture of the receipt.
Okay, so he's gonna do that.
Yeah, I think that's what I don't think they'll reimburse it, so a copy of the receipt.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that, okay? No.
And then I had a. So it's okay. Emeritus sent a computer. It's not I'll be sending that back.
And we need to shut this all down.
Wow. That's, she's.
Oh, you're gonna shut it down for us. Okay, good. Nobody left a flash drive.
Oh, wait.
One of Scott wants to copy over some of the slides from the desktop over to his flash drive.
Qualified to be listed as that.
Maybe wasn't anyway.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, what do you do? It's crazy.
Yeah.